Welcome to Nature Calls, Conversations from the Hudson Valley. Our team's goal is to present science-based information about gardening and all things nature in New York's Hudson Valley. Our hosts are Master Gardener volunteers for the Cornell Cooperative Extension of Columbia and Greene counties, midpoint along the Hudson River Valley. So if you're interested in gardening or nature or just nuggets of information about what's happening outside your door, listen in and enjoy the conversation. Whatever the season, we'll always have something to talk about.
Hi, I'm Tim Kennelty.
And I'm Jean Towner.
And welcome to Nature Calls, Conversations from the Hudson Valley.
Today our guest is Nicole Schmitt of Hannacroix Hill Farm, and we're going to be talking about growing flowers for a living. Welcome, Nicole.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. We've never had a flower farmer. We know you're a fellow master gardener, Nicole, and you also belong to the Association of Specialty Cut Flower Growers, which I didn't know existed. How did you get into this? We're kind of intrigued.
Well, flower farming never really was a dream or a goal of mine. It really started in the pandemic when I was new to the community and I was growing for myself and to get to know my neighbors. I did doorstop deliveries of some bouquets out of my garden, and that's how I was able to introduce myself to the community. And then from there, they started asking me for bouquets that they could buy and give as gifts. And that winter, the dream just kind of blossomed and led to the business plan to open Hannacroix Hill Farm.
So really organic, huh? That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking around and seeing flower farms popping up everywhere. And I know you went and actually did research and studied and learned about how to do it the right way. So we do have a list in our webpage of a bunch of places that people can learn about it. But you think the pandemic had a lot to do with that?
I do, right? Everybody was looking to get outside and to nurture things. And along with that, there was a boom of beautiful activity on platforms like Instagram and also a television series that came out by Florette talking about flower farming and the budding industry of growing flowers. And I think that that had a lot to contribute to the rise of floriculture.
That and the planes weren't flying back and forth from continent to continent hauling flowers like before.
That is very true. A lot of florists were left high and dry when they couldn't get their flowers in during the pandemic. So it really gave a boom to those who were growing here locally.
Well, that's interesting because I remember in the 60s, there were whole giant ranges of glass houses growing roses in Rensselaer County.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Is that maybe going to come back now that we have solar and better greenhouses?
I think some of it will come back. And I think it really has to come down to the local community wanting local products. There's a lot of things that you can get locally that you can't get from overseas because they just don't hold up well in the transport, because it does take over a week for flowers to get from South America to the United States into your florist's hands.
So I assume that a lot of people just think, oh, this must be really an easy thing. But there's probably some people, who are just going out of business because they think let's get started and it doesn't work. So do you have some kind of do's and don'ts?
It takes a lot of grit, a lot of perseverance. It's not cheap. Seeds are a relatively low cost, but there are many other considerations to grow a quality product, as well as to store that quality product until it can get to the market. So, for example, having access to a walk-in cooler to maintain them, managing post-harvest care.
So you really need some infrastructure. You can't just go out in the back of your garden and plant seeds and sell them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm only growing on about 1/4 of an acre, and it is back-breaking without having really heavy equipment to do a lot of that lifting. A lot of shovels, hoes, rakes, and good old-fashioned manual labor.
And you do all of your plants from seed?
I do not. So there are advantages in some cases, to buying in what we call plugs, which are just baby plants. Some of the varieties are either very difficult to germinate, or you have to germinate them in very specific conditions. For example, Lysianthus, which is one of my favorite flowers,
wicked hard to grow.
Very hard to grow and so long to grow. So I do grow some of them from seed, but it takes 12 weeks to get from seed to the point where you can put it out in the field. 12
So
weeks.
you really have to think about that in terms of which flowers you're selecting.
Yeah, so a lot of it comes into play, like what kind of color schemes are you looking at? So for a retail environment, a lot of bright, bold colors.
Mhm.
For weddings and events, you're looking at more pastels and softer colors typically. And it really comes down to what the flower likes. How does that flower thrive and grow and blossom? So there are what we call cool flowers that like to be on the kind of the cooler side of things that get started in early spring. But then there are flowers that are really tender annuals and you can't put them out and start them until after you've passed your last frost date.
So you're growing perennials and annuals?
Yeah, so on our farm, we've made a very conscious decision to incorporate as many perennial and native plants as well that are useful for cut flowers. And that is kind of multifaceted because not only are they beautiful and natural for our environment and sustainable, but they also bring in natural predator insects and help with our IPM to manage our pest management.
That is so cool. I think that's such a cool approach. So you're actually kind of doing something for the environment, not just cutting flowers and selling them to people.
Yeah.
My brain is exhausted listening to all this.
I like the grid. I want to hear more about
Yeah, well,
grids.
yeah, because I was sitting here thinking of
We have no grid. by the
no
way.
grow. We're wussies. I was just thinking of Nicole swanning around in a sundress and a straw hat.
That does sound really
Welcome
glamorous.
flowers
Not.
from this meadow. No, huh?
No.
Well, actually, I worked in a farm, so I know that it's no phase of it is pretty, except the baskets as you're hauling them off to market. Now, into the gritty part, you have a high tunnel growing setup and a small hoop house, and you use parts of your house. I see it become your seedling nursery, and you grow hydroponic flowers and probably microgreens.
Yeah.
So, how big is your staff?
I'm a one-woman show.
Oh my goodness.
No, in all seriousness, I do the majority of the work myself. However, my partner will help out, especially if a tractor is involved. But when it comes to the hard labor, it's my job.
If I can play with the tractors, I'll come help too.
Anytime. Okay, I'll be right over.
So I'm just curious, can you tell us how you select flowers from the start to the end of a cycle of a particular flower?
It really comes down to crop planning. Having one flower bloom by itself, it can be beautiful, but I really enjoy mixed retail market bouquets and seeing people kind of pick through and look to see, oh, I love that flower. So it really takes a lot of effort and planning to grow multiple flowers and have them bloom all at the same time to be able to make those mixed bouquets.
Interesting. So you really have to do a huge amount of planning then.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
have spreadsheets, and I mean, are you like a crazy planner as far as that goes?
I am. Yeah. So I have made my own spreadsheets to manage my crop plan.
That sounds like part of the grit, I think.
It is, right? Flower farming is not all being in the field. There's a lot of office work that goes around along with it. So
And do you have customers come to you with really specific needs? Say for a wedding, you were talking about a wedding, they want particular flowers, and then you really have to plan ahead, yes?
you do. I don't do that many weddings because I like the brighter, bolder colors as well. And I grow primarily for farmers markets and a retail market, but I can accommodate with enough notice.
Yeah, how much notice do you need? You need a big, long lead time.
It really depends on the flower,
Yeah, if they're
right? I mean, some grow in as little as 60 days. And
I want Lysianthus.
Are there flowers now? Are there flowers that everybody wants right now?
I mean, it's so seasonal. I would say the dahlia craze is ongoing.
Yeah, there's some dahlia freaks out there, aren't there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of like the underdogs.
So which would you consider the underdogs?
Zinnias. Zinnias are probably one of my...
Zinnias.
And cosmos. Okay, I'm not a big fan of cosmos.
They shatter.
But they're bold, right? I mean, zinnias, that's what you're talking about.
They are. And again, that's one of those varieties that you cannot get imported because they don't withstand the travel.
Right. And are they a good cut flower? I mean, you have to take that into consideration.
They are. If harvested correctly and disease-free, you should be able to get 7 to 10 days out of them in a vase.
So talk about harvested correctly. So tell us what that means.
So every flower has a best point to harvest it at. And Azaleas, for example, you have to do what we call the wiggle test. So you pinch the stem about a foot down from the blossom and you just give it a little wiggle back and forth. And if you see the head flopping, it's not ready yet. If the head moves in the same direction that you are wiggling that stem, it's ready.
You must be fun to watch out in the field.
I was going to say, you have to do a lot of wiggle tests if you want a big bouquet, right?
Yeah.
Jean knows all about that, right?
I do. I know my wiggles. Okay, you're doing a lot of things to restore the soil as well. It's not just buying in bags of dirt and putting them in containers. And you're doing sustainability and regeneration practices, which are highfalutin things that are very popular now all of a sudden. And they're actually very simple, back to very, very basics.
Yeah.
So you're doing that. Now, I know you have livestock that you're incorporating the after effects into your flower operation. So how much time and effort does that take? And probably a lot of tractor.
The tractor part, yes. We have an unlimited supply of compost, which is fantastic. So we are
You should become friends.
Yeah, I know where she lives.
we are constantly cleaning out our goat pens and our chicken pens and turning that in a hot format to generate high quality compost, which is used to amend the soil for our flower fields so that we can reduce the input of fertilizer into our soil.
Do you think you have a customer following because of kind of these practices at all in terms of, I mean, do you think people are interested in that and want to buy from growers that are doing things that are really sustainable?
Absolutely.
That's very cool.
Absolutely.
Well, now you have a CSA. You have to deliver to pickup points. You have to bring buckets and pre-sold bouquets to farmers markets. There's another manner of keeping track. You have to
And do
computerize.
you do all the farmers? I mean, do you do the farmers markets or do you have people who work the farmers markets?
I am a one-woman show.
Well, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, so we do offer the CSA and we participate in 3 local farmers markets. We are at the Coxsackie Market, the Colony Market, and the Catskill Market on an ongoing basis. And we do utilize those points as pickup locations for our CSA. So our community supported agriculture program is essentially a bouquet subscription. So if you commit ahead of time off season to purchasing those bouquets, we have a monthly, a biweekly, and a weekly option available for either 5, 10, or 20 seasonal bouquets. And really, again, that helps us plan
Yeah.
because we know how much
you've got
we need to
pre-sold.
produce. They are pre-sold
Boy.
and they are picked up at your designated spot that you choose on your given schedule.
Do you sell to restaurants?
We do. So we have a bud vase program locally for restaurants, and we also do a lot of event type bouquets
Oh,
for
I've seen a couple of your ideas. You do really interesting stuff.
yeah.
So you're a flower arranger too, then.
Yeah, I consider myself a farmer florist.
In that order.
I like that.
Yes.
So tell us kind of the other ways that you sell. I mean, you said farmers markets. If I was going to come to your farm, could I buy flowers directly from your farm as well? And where's it located?
So we are about halfway between Greenville, New York and Coxsackie, New York. We like to say our farm is open, but it is a fully functioning farm. So it is by appointment only to stop in because we do have livestock out and moving around as well as some farm dogs. And we want to make sure everybody's safe as well. So we are open by appointment for pickup on farm, but we also work with other local retailers to have our bouquets readily available within the community. So we have our bouquets weekly at Jonk's Farm Stand on Route 81 in Greenville. And we work with several other retailers, such as the James Newberry Hotel in Coxsackie and Merriman and Pfister in Del Mar.
And where do you think you sell the most flowers, or what kind of venue do you think you sell the most flowers, or I guess generate the most revenue?
Honestly, I'd say it's kind of split between the CSA as well as on the spot day of market
I
sales.
think the CSA is a great idea. I'm going to subscribe, I think, because I love the idea of knowing that you're going to have a bouquet on a regular basis.
And it allows you to really experience the best of the entire season. For example, that monthly one, you get 1 bouquet a month, May through September. So you get to see the flowers of every season and it's committed.
Yeah, that's terrific. And you choose by the season. So you have particular flowers that you really need to plan then, back to planning what goes together and what you think you're gonna have for that like October bouquet. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in.
Yeah,
Totally in.
I'll sign you up. I
Yeah.
got mine ordered. There's a lot of flower farmers around, and a whole lot of people just toss in a bunch of seeds and think they're flower farmers. But at the other extent of the spectrum is River Garden Flower Farm in Freehold. They ship truckloads of dried flowers to New York City a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
And they've been in business for, I'm saying, going on 30 years now. So you go from that extent to, the little girl down the road that has a package of zinnia seeds and she sells them to her neighbors. Is there an organization? Is there a way to keep? How many flower gardeners are there in the area?
So I haven't really necessarily counted, but just from my network of community of local flower farmers, I'd say there's at least 24 of us in the Greene County area.
And it's just Greene County. So yeah, Columbia County will double it, and probably I know Rensselaer
Absolutely.
County has a lot too. So they must, all the counties
Yeah.
must. That's a wonderful thing.
This is my ignorant question, but do you think people are aware that there are so many flower farmers? I mean,
No.
I certainly wasn't aware.
Well, how many florists are starting to become welcoming to native and local? Sure.
Yeah, there is a big boom of interest for using local flowers.
Because they use a lot of things like branches of flowering shrubs and things like that you can't get at the florist store.
I'm already starting to force forsythia in the house.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but there is, right? Because the quality is so much better.
Yeah.
When you can get it that fresh, really the consumers are the ones that win because it lasts longer in their vase.
Well, maybe the florists don't want that.
But
It
you
is-
just said you were going to start doing shrubs, flower shrub. I mean, isn't that really difficult to like keep them? I mean, I've cut shrub flowering plants and they just don't seem to last. Or is there some secret?
It's all about the conditioning.
Okay.
You got to do it
I
right.
did
Yeah,
know
right.
conditioning. It's slow. Do you do dried flowers too? Gene was talking about dry flowers. You do that as well?
I do, yeah. So
Where?
And some dry really well and some do not, correct?
yeah, there actually, I would say a lot of flowers can dry, and a lot of flowers people wouldn't expect to be able to dry that you can dry.
Like?
The peony.
Really?
And I didn't
That sounds very
I-
cool, dried peony.
They're beautiful when they're dry and they maintain their fragrance. It's absolutely amazing.
Bizarre.
I didn't learn that until I went to Alaska on vacation. And
Sometimes you have to go to
That's where you learn about peonies.
right? Well, they produce a ton of peonies in Alaska. The weather is just right there. And so I was at a peony farm taking a tour, and they had just hundreds of peonies hanging from the rafters in their workshop drying.
Oh,
I've never heard of drying peonies. And is there a particular method to it?
Just upside down in a cool, dark place.
it's got to be cool and dark.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking you can use the hooper and the high grow for drying, but some of the herbs you can, right? In the hot, dry spot.
To dry flowers slow and maintain their vibrancy, you really want to do it in a cool, dry place with good circulation.
To hold the color.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
one of the benefits of having a big old farmhouse is that one of the spare bedrooms becomes a flower drying room.
All these flower-orama at your place, huh?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
This place smells good, I bet you.
So you've talked about peonies. Obviously, like you like peonies. I think all three like peonies. So what are your favorite flowers? I know I always ask this question. That's the hardest thing. Right?
One.
It changes
Well,
day by day.
You can
It's
choose.
just these are
You
my
don't have to pick
reasons.
just one. Just tell us a couple.
I love tulips. So I grow tulips all winter long indoors hydroponically. And I like the fancy ones, not just your standard garden tulip. So the parrots that are all ruffly and the fringe tips and the double ones that actually open like a peony. They call them a peony style tulip.
Clever.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But the tulips really take us all the way until the peonies are ready in June.
So when are they? You have them from like April to June?
The tulips?
Yeah.
Oh, I have them from January to June.
Really?
Get another CSA.
I'm telling you, I'm ready.
And then once the peonies are done, the zinnias are coming on. And then as the zinnias take us into fall, then we're starting to transition to things like our sunflowers and the heirloom chrysanthemums.
So it sounds like you pretty much do it all. Are there any flowers that you've just decided they're just too difficult to grow?
I haven't met one yet.
Oh, listen to that.
She grows lysianthus.
First of all, I have to plead ignorance to lysianthus. I don't know.
I'll show you. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'll get it at the CSA probably, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's going to have them.
Okay.
Now, we're in the Mid-Hud, Free Columbia counties. Flower farmers, I'm sure, are every damn where. How, if somebody lives in East Oshagambie that's a couple hundred miles away, how do they find out who their local flower farmers are?
That's where the Association of Specialty Cut Flower Growers comes into play.
Oh.
So on their website, they have a really easy tool to find local flowers
Zip code.
by your zip code. Really? Yeah, it's fantastic. So if you just search localflowers.org, you can get right there. You'll pop in your zip code, and it pulls up all of the flower farmers that are in the association.
That's wonderful.
Oh, that's cool.
And is there a reason I'd be choosing a flower farm that was in the association? Are there certain kind of regulations, or there's something that would be positive to me as a purchaser?
If you are taking this as a business and looking to continue to grow and develop your skills, joining that organization is really what professionals are doing.
And you're saying you're maybe going to get a more high quality product if you're buying from someone who's in the association. Is that fair to say?
Most likely.
Okay.
If you're in that association, you're taking this as a business and taking it professionally, and you're committed to continuous education, because that's a big piece of what the association is doing, is workshops and managing.
So we always ask this question, and I hope you're ready for this. We always ask the question, it's a crazy world, and it sounds like you're doing some really good things and some really positive things. And what is more positive than bringing flowers to people and they're brightening up their lives? But tell us what gives you hope on a day-to-day basis. It's not just the grit, but the hope.
To be honest with you, change is constant, and flowers have this way of blooming no matter what. And so maybe it's best that I just leave you with a quote from Lady Bird Johnson, our former First Lady.
Love her.
Yeah, right. So she said, "Where flowers bloom, so does hope."
Lovely. You came prepared.
Best answer yet.
That was the best answer. That's lovely, really. Terrific.
Thank you.
Wow, I learned so much. I learned so much today. Thank you so much for coming, Nicole.
Well, thank you for having me. I can talk flowers all day.
Oh, good. Well, we'll be talking
Excellent.
again very soon.
And joining the CSA.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, and thanks to all our listeners.
That concludes another episode of Nature Calls, Conversations from the Hudson Valley. We would like to thank Xandra Powers and Devin Connolly from the Cornell Cooperative Extension of Columbia and Greene Counties for production support. And a special thanks to our listeners for joining us on this episode of Nature Calls, Conversations from the Hudson Valley. You can find links to any of the topics mentioned in this episode at our website at ccecolumbiagreen.org. Comments and suggestions for future topics may be directed to us at columbiagreenmgv@cornell.edu or on the CCE Master Gardener Volunteers of Columbia and Greene Facebook page. For more information about CCE of Columbia and Greene, visit our website or visit in person during business hours at our campuses in Hudson or Acra.
Cornell Cooperative Extension provides equal program and employment opportunities in accordance with applicable laws.